This is Kunle Amzat Studio, Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Welcome to Pacesetter Watch.
Good afternoon to you. Even though the weather seems like it's morning all along, but it's noon and it's about 11 minutes gone past 3 from our clock right here from the studios of Agidigbo 88.7 FM on behalf of the producers and the crew, the entire crew of this program, Pacesetter Watch. I say good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the program. If you're listening for the very first time, this is a program with which we give you information as well as carry along communities. For the first part of this program, we visit communities facing one challenge or the other. Whatever challenge they're facing anywhere, we'll just go there, make sure that people enjoy the dividends of democracy, and this is our own way to give back to the society, the community. So we'll go to that environment, that community, to be sure that you have all you needed so that you could have a sustainable life and we could have sustainable development right there from the state government and the right quarters. So usually sometimes we go to those communities if we have people who actually came to us to tell us whatever challenge they are facing. Now, let's use this opportunity to tell you that you have all it takes to harness yourself of this opportunity. You just put a call through to us. You could call the producer of that segment, Olamide Badmos, or Tosin Ologun, as well as a number of other members of the crew who would definitely come visit you right there, see that challenge you're facing, and have it worked out. Now, once they visit your community, you'd explain to them what challenge you're facing, and then we'll definitely have our crew come there. And as a producer, she's going to stay here with me on the program Pacesetter Watch today. Now, you can send a text or call Olamide Badmus on 0708 714 4865. Once again, 0708 714 4865. So that's Olamide Badmos's number. Once you put a call through to her, she'll talk to you and she'll come visit that community, check out your challenge. We will make sure we'll call the right quarters. They're going to come there and do the needful right there for whatever challenge you're facing right there. Once again, I am Adid Dotsumure Nkeji Amosun bidding you welcome. Now, moving away from the first segment, let's go straight into business today. Business of the day is the fact that yesterday, March the 2nd in the month, March the 2nd in the year 2023, happens to be the World Book Day. My first question to you is, when last did you read a book? What kind of book or books? What's your genre of book? When I say genre, I mean what kind of book do you always love reading? What kind of book do you read? Mills and Booms while we're growing up, those are part of the books that a number of us will read then, because it's somehow erotic and you want to have a feel of it. Mills and Booms, and because you're teens, you're just growing up, you look at such a book and say you're interested in it. Would that be the right book to read? Why must you and I read a book? What's the reason for it? Now, Malcolm X, I'm sure a number of people who are conversant with the name would understand who that is or would know who that is. But there is a statement attributed to that man. Is half American, and he said if you want to hide a secret from a black man, put it in a book. Malcolm X said that with the full name Alhaj Malik Al Abbas, Alhaj Malik Al Shabazz, that's his name. He's a writer, and he wrote different books. He's been late since 1965. He was 39 years when he died, but he's written a lot of books. Today we'll be talking about books, reading, as well as perhaps writing a book. What are the things necessary to be done? How do you cultivate the habit of reading a book? This and more issues we'll be discussing today with a writer. And I'm sure when you talk about someone being a writer, he has read a number of books as well before he started writing. A writer or reader as well, who's read so many books, who's written so many texts, as much as above 10 texts, both in Yoruba, in English, or I should also add the fact that he's written text in Arabic language. Alhaji Kamal Uzama, I say good afternoon to you and welcome on the program, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My listener at home, my audience, good afternoon.
Yes, talking about books, writing a book. There are different genres, there are different kinds of books.
Yeah.
It is one thing to write, it is another thing to be able to talk about it. You've got all it takes to also speak about it, so it goes a long way for me. Now, let's know, can you tell, like, how many types or genre of books would you say we have?
Thanks so much. Firstly, my name is Haji Kabal Huzaba. Thanks so much. As we understand very well, we have three genres of literature. We have prose, we have drama, and at the same time, we have poetry. These are literary works that we must understand very well. Literature, as we understand, reflection or makes society to be reflected. With the literary works, I repeat, they are making, or literary works, they are making society to be reflected. They are given, writers, they are given society, or they are open their thinking faculty, giving them sense of direction, balance their thinking, their brain, their thinking capability as well.
All right, so now talking about different types of books. So you said we could categorize it into three: the prose,
Definitely.
poetry, as well as drama.
Drama.
Now, which is your focus really, or do you cut across all?
We have, as we understand, literary work or literary works subdivided into two. We have fiction and non-fiction.
Okay.
When we are talking about the fiction, we are talking about, as we understand, the writers, they are regarded as a curator. They always think, they always turn impossibility to possibility by the virtue of their thinking capacity. And at the same time, when we are talking about the non-fiction, we are talking about the factual story, the real story. When we are talking about the autobiography, biography, past event as it's happened. That is it.
So, which is your focus, really?
My focus is both fiction and
non-fiction.
Definitely, as a writer.
So, would you categorize it as the drama,
It could be drama.
It could be drama.
It could be drama.
So,
It
like,
could
how
be
many
prose.
books do you have to your credit right now?
If I'm not mistaken, up to 15
books
15.
right now.
Definitely.
Do you have a
literary works.
favorite in those books?
Thanks so much. Value of Daughters.
Value of
Values of Daughters.
Values of daughters.
Yes.
Of daughters.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We'll take a break now. When we return, you tell us what informed your writing.
Okay.
How people could write books.
Thanks
and
so much.
Things they could do that would enhance their writing as well as even reading as well. We'll be back after this time out. The program is Pacesetter Watch right here on Agidigbo 88.7 FM. We'll be back.
Agidigbo 88.7 FM.
D-Lucam Travels and Tours Limited. Ẹ ti ń gbọ́ orúkọ yẹn, ẹ ti ń jẹ̀rán kan ẹ̀. D-Lucam Travels and Tours Limited. Àwọn kan ló yẹ kẹ́ ẹ bá lọ ájì ìtọ́dún yìí. Àwọn tí wọ́n bá wọn lọ lẹ́sìn. Wọ́n jẹ̀rán kan wípé ilé-iṣẹ́ D-Lucam Travels and Tours Limited làwọn ò mọ bá lọ títí láéláé. Wọ́n gbóúnjẹ fẹ́ gbé gbà wo bọ̀. Bí wọ́n ṣe mú àwọn ìjáàdì ṣiṣẹ́ ájì. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ń ṣe umura olóṣooṣù àti tójú ọdún. Àwọn ilégbèé tí kò jìnnà sí Aram ní Mẹ́kà Mẹ́dínà. Àwọn oúnjẹ afúnilókun ṣara lóore. Tó dùn yògbàyògbà. Ziyara dé gbogbo bí mọ́ni gbàgbé. Tó fi dórí àwọn àkànṣe àdúrà ní gbogbo bí àyè àṣẹ nílẹ̀ Mẹ́kà Mẹ́dínà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ lówó wọn ò fàpòyà. Ẹ kàn sí wọn ní Barushi Plaza kìlómítà 6 Elewure Junction Akala Expressway New Garage Ìbàdàn. Telephone 080-6689-6859 tàbí 080-5592-4024. D-Lucam Travels and Tours Limited. Ìwáre ìjáfáfá àtijọ́mọlúàbí ni wọ́n fi jọ̀gá.
dúró re máa tó ti dóde egbòogi amáragbá yagiyagi ó dára fún jẹ̀díjẹ̀dí. dúró re dé ògbóǹtarìgì egbòogi tí ń bá àwọn àrùn wọ̀nyá àjàkadì lágọ̀ọ́ ara bí ọkùnrin tára rí ògbá yagiyagi lọ́pàá ẹ̀yìn ó máa ròyìn góoro ká má tí ì jókòó ìṣẹ́jú mélòó ká ti máa dè mọ́pàá ẹ̀yìn kára ó máa wó òyàn iṣẹ́ ara jẹ̀díjẹ̀dí náà ni pé dúró re abámisọ̀ lura lónìí kò lọ́tí nínú àjọ NAFDAC sì tún lù lọ́ǹtẹ̀ pé ó dáa fún mímu lágọ̀ọ́ ara ṣùgbọ́n kò sí fọlóyún àtọmọ tó bá ìpẹ́ ní ọdún méjìdínlógún iléeṣẹ́ Alkudus Traditional Herbal Medicine ló gbé jáde wọ́n sì tún wá alágbàtà káàkiri Nàìjíríà. Alkudus Herbal iléeṣẹ́ wọn wà ní nọ́mbà 70 Kájọlá Estate Ìlúpéjú Street Bádékú ojú school Ẹgbẹ́dànjọba Ìbílẹ̀ Ọ̀nàrà Ìbàdàn. Shop address Adéyínká Shopping Complex before Overhead Bridge Airport Area Alákíá Odifẹ̀ Road Ìbàdàn. Fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ 091-5866-4836 àti 070-3316-2661. Alkudus ló ní.
a ò ní fàìsàn ló gbà.
ọ̀rọ̀ ìrìn àjò sílẹ̀ òkèèrè tó wá dé yìí yìí ò jẹ́ àìtẹ̀lẹ́ni tó mọ̀nà máa ṣokùnfà rẹ̀ lọ́pọ̀ ìgbà. ojú òpó tó tọ́ nìyí fẹ̀yìn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tẹ́ fẹ́ lọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Canada, USA, United Kingdom àti Cyprus ní pàtó South Cyprus. Cool Global Interlinks ló ṣílẹ̀kùn àǹfààní láìsílẹ̀ fún gbogbo akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó nífẹ̀ẹ́ láti lọ kàwé nílẹ̀ òkèèrè. pabambari ẹni tẹ̀dínwó aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ tí gbogbo akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó bá ti pàṣẹ Cool Global lọ kàwé nílẹ̀ òkèèrè ó jẹ lórí owó iléèwé wọn. látàrí àjọṣepọ̀ tí wọ́n ní pẹ̀lú àwọn iléèwé tó ń bẹ lórílẹ̀‐èdè Canada, USA, UK àti South Cyprus. àgbà ọ̀jẹ̀ nílé iṣẹ́ Cool Global Interlinks tọrọ bá di kábàánì ṣètò ìrìn àjò sílẹ̀ òkèèrè. wọn kì í já àbá àdéhùn lẹ́yìn àjọsọyépọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀. ẹ kàn sí Cool Global Interlinks ní 72 Rẹ̀mílẹ́kún House Adékúnlé Fájuyì Road ládojúkọ pápá àṣírí Àdámàsìgbà nílùú Ìbàdàn pé 08077752646. Cool Global Interlinks ojú òpó tó tọ́ láti lọ kàwé nílẹ̀ òkèèrè.
Ya Ramadan, ya Ramadan, ya marhaban bika ya Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum gbogbo mùsùlùmí.
àtúkù àmójúbà oṣù USA.
Ramadan alhamdulilayi rabbil alamin.
àdúpẹ́ tí tọdún yìí tún bá wa láyé láàyè ọpẹ́.
tó tún bá wa láàyè ìdùnnú. iṣẹ́ tún ti yá o.
àkókò tún ti tó o fún ṣe olóore tá a máa ń ṣe nínú oṣù Ramadan.
ó yá ẹ̀jẹ̀ àjọṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ọ̀kun òjọ̀kan ètò tá a ti là kalẹ̀ nílé iṣẹ́ rédíò yìí. rédíò aráàlú ni Àgídìgbò FM 88.7.
ẹ máa bọ̀ tààrà lólú iléeṣẹ́ wa.
tó wà ní Broadcasting House Àgídìgbò Junction Rainbow Bus Stop.
lópòpónà tó ti wó ròdò lọ sọ́jọ́.
ọ̀kan òjọ̀kan ètò láti là kalẹ̀.
kẹ́ẹ̀lì fowó tíntín sí kẹ́ẹ̀ fi ṣiṣẹ́ àṣegbọrẹ.
ìrun pípé.
tẹ̀fsíìrì.
wáàsí ìta gbangba.
àdúrà fáwọn ẹni wa tó ti jọ́ lọ́hùn nípè.
lẹ́jẹ̀ wọ́n nílé iṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò 88.7 ṣètò Ramadan tọdún yìí.
kọ́mọ́ bá gún wa nípa ni o.
ìṣẹ́jú márùn-ún bẹ́ẹ̀ ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún ogún ìṣẹ́jú ọgbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú.
kódà olóǹfààní àti sonígbọ̀wọ́ wákàtí kan gbáko.
onírúurú àwọn ètò tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú Ramadan.
olóǹfààní àti sonígbọ̀wọ́ ìfitọ́.
ẹ mú títí wá. bẹ́ẹ̀ fi gbà púpọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba Allah.
ẹ má gbàgbé láti sonígbọ̀wọ́ àbí láti kó onírúurú ẹ̀bùn fún wa.
iléeṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò 88.7 fún tọdún yìí. intansurula yansurukun.
ẹ jáde dìbò.
ẹ má ẹ bá wọn jà o Ìbò ni ẹ dì o. Ẹ dìbò fún Ṣèyí Mákindé. Ìbò ni ẹ fi sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ máa kó palẹ̀ mọ́ ìbò gómìnà títí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin Ọ̀yọ́.
Ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì máa ti mímì àti ẹ̀mọ́ bíi dádìbò náà sí jàre.
Ajá ò gbọ́dọ̀ gbàgbé olóore Ṣèyí Mákindé la dìbò fún. Kò sí wàsíwùsù lọ́rọ̀ èyí tó kàn yìí. Ìwé ìbò tí wọ́n bá ti já fún wọn. Àmì àmbrẹ́là ní ọ̀tẹ́ká. Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì bá dání. Àtúngù ni kì í ró bùkébùké kó má irú hàún. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn rere ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ o. Ọ̀rọ̀ bò yìí kọjá ọ̀rọ̀ ẹgbẹ́. Ìgbà tí Ṣèyí ṣoore kò fi tẹgbẹ́ kò fi tẹ̀sí kò fi tẹ̀yàṣe. Ìfẹ́ tá a ní sí Ṣèyí kò ṣẹ̀yìn ìrọ̀rùn àti ìlọsíwájú tí ń lọ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ẹ jẹ́ àtúnyáyá jáde dìbò fún Ṣèyí Mákindé olùtọ́jú mẹ̀kúnnù. Ọjọ́ kọkànlá oṣù kẹta wọlé dé. Ẹ pé ṣàkótún àti ṣàkóso ká fọwọ́ ti aláàánú mẹ̀kúnnù bí gbẹ́kẹ́ tí fọwọ́ ti lé kó ṣẹlẹ̀ kejì. Kéèpà má parẹ́ kó mẹ́rò pé òun pajá o. Gbajàba kú ibo lè pa ó wà. Ìbò kù sí dẹ̀dẹ̀. Ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì kankan ò gbọ́dọ̀ mú wa kí iṣẹ́ rere kó lè tẹ̀síwájú. Má jẹ́ kí ìka rẹ̀ kọjá sí àárín méjì. Ẹ jẹ́ á dìbò fún Ṣèyí Báyọ̀ kí wọ́n ó ṣẹlẹ̀ kejì. PDP power.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
Pacesetter watches the program right here on Agidigbo 88.7 FM, and we're talking books because yesterday was March the 2nd and was World Book Day. And to speak as regards that, we've been talking to him right here. He's a writer. He's written above or almost, or perhaps I say around 10 to 15 books, and he's right here to discuss book writing, book reading. What are the essence of reading a book, or perhaps to be a writer? What are the things needed? Alhaji Kamal Uzama right here. And he's mentioned the fact that we have prose, poetry, as well as drama. Those are the three types of books, and we have fiction and non-fiction. Now, let's talk about things necessary for someone who wants to write or read a book. What are the necessary things, the core things needed?
Thanks so much. As we understand very well, we can be progress in life without being regress in life. I must tell you the real fact. Knowledge is very paramount in one's life. Now, when we're talking about the reading, writing, these are two things going together simultaneously. The basic things for us to think of, to think about indeed, when we want to write, or if a writer wants to write a book, we must get it right, please. These are fundamental things, factors that can make someone be balanced when it is come to reading and writing. There is what we call listening, speaking, writing, and at the same time, reading, followed by thinking. These are basic things we need to think of, to put into consideration. And at the same time, let me add to read, sir.
Okay.
I could remember one philosopher said, when one wants to get things right in life, there are three exercises that we need to engage in for us to balance our life, to live better life. We have intellect exercise, which is all about reading, writing, intellect exercise. And at the same time, spiritual exercise is all about prayer. And at the same time, body exercise. Intellect exercise, we must exercise our brain by reading. We must exercise our brain by thinking. A reader, as we understand, a reader is a leader. We can't get things right unless we go back to our drawing board, which is reading. Reading is a study of what? A study of books. My listener out there, where are we in Africa? Africans, where are we?
Now let me go to that point you just mentioned.
Thanks so much.
That's talking about reading. For us, a number of people, like I mentioned when I started this part of the program, I mentioned the fact that a young man who is late now, he goes by the name Malcolm X and Malcolm Little, but full name Alhaj Malik Al-Shabazz, mentioned the fact that if you want to hide a secret from a black man, put it in a book. Would you say that is still applicable to a black man today? Would you agree to the fact that we don't read books?
My observations to that statement. The statement is fact. Let us get it right.
Oh yeah.
The statement is fact, and I must tell you the real fact. We are regressing because some Africans are not reading books again. And I must tell you, if you are not reading, how are we going to know past events? How are we going to know past events, even happening things as well? Reading, it's giving us sense of direction, as I mentioned earlier. Reading is give us high sense of understanding. Why? When we are not reading, there is what we call R&D. R&D has to do with the research and development. How are we going to progress? How are we going to progress when we are not reading? When we read past events, I mean history books. Definitely, it will give us the high sense of direction to know what's the solutions to the current problems that we are facing. When we are not reading, how are we going to write? When we are not reading, how are we going to write? We can't write without reading. We must read. And let us, everybody is aware of what is really happening in our society right now.
Now, let's look at it. Our society, it is said that problem identified is half served. Yes. Now, we a number of people had identified this issue of blacks not reading, so to speak.
Thanks so much.
Now, let me ask if there had been a survey to know if people have started reading some kinds of book. Would you say people read prose, poetry more than drama or fiction more than non-fiction? Which would you say the blacks are focusing in right now in reading the most?
I must tell you the real fact. Let us get it right. Now, genres of literature, there is no anyone among them that is not paramount, that is not crucial, that is not important.
So you can...
we are not reading basically 30%. I mean 30% of Africans. 30% of Africans are reading and write. Are reading books and at the same time writing books. 70% they are not serious. They are not serious about the reading books. They are not discovering. We are not discovering new things again. We are not discovering new things again.
Are you saying without us reading books or writing books,
we can't get things right?
We cannot discover.
I must tell you the real fact. We will discover new things by research. We will discover new things by research, by embarking on research. How are we going to how are we going to get it right? The book, we are the opener of our books. We have to. Book, I must tell you, I find it very difficult to understand. When I see people who are having books, they have books at home, they don't open their books. They don't open their books. I must tell you the real fact. You can't just take book. You can't just store books that are at your home.
Your shelves and just.
I must tell you, no. Books at home, not as fashion.
Do we have associations, perhaps Writers Association and what have you, that are looking into such things? Would you say the society is adding to this menace of blacks or perhaps Nigerians not reading?
We have Association of Nigerian Authors,
yeah,
and Association of Nigerian Authors. We must understand one thing.
Would you say the government is part of the challenge that we don't have much readers as well as writers?
I can see everything is all about government. Everything is all about government. Government must stand in order to encourage our writers, our readers, our writers indeed. But I must tell you the real fact. Please and please, we need to solve our problems. You said one thing. Problem problem recognition. You mentioned
problem
it.
identified is half
Problem
solved.
recognition, problem identified is half solved. Please and please, can we just solve problem like that? It is not possible. When you see problem and you are looking around, you to solve your problem. No, you can't get it right like that. Let us go back to what we call we must look at the problem from etymology. Etymology has to do with the origin of the problem, which is the cause of the action. Let us look at it.
Right now, what would you say is the cause of a problem?
The cause of the problem right now, please and please, we have to sit down very well. If we want to progress in life, we must cultivate the idea of reading. We must. It's all about self-training. If we want to lead, now look at it right now. Everybody wants to lead. Everyone wants to lead. I want to become a leader. I want to become this. I want to lead people. I want to lead the congregation. It's all about what? It's all about reading. When you are not reading, you can't lead. If you are leading and you are not reading, definitely you are going to mislead people. You are going to mislead people. There must be discrepancy, because when you notice something that you need to solve amicably, while you are not reading, the solution to the problem is what is in the books. The solution to the problem is on the pages of the books. We have to go back. We have to go back. Anything that we want to do in life, anything that we want to do, we want to acquire knowledge, we want to do this, we want to achieve this and that. I must tell you the real fact, we have to go back. We have to read. Knowledge is all about reading. Knowledge is all about reading. Knowledge is all about thinking. We have to.
Now,
and government must stand in order to encourage the writers.
Now, we've been talking about people reading books. We've been talking about doing the needful to be a writer, to be a leader. You must read. You've mentioned all that. Alhaji Uzama, I would want us to talk about writers right now. Do they really have the encouragement needed to even write? Or perhaps I should say, do you writers have all the encouragement needed to write? Because it is one thing to have an idea of a book. It is another thing to get a pen on paper, to have the manuscript, let alone have you print it out. It goes through a number of processes. Would you say you have all it takes now?
Thanks so much for that question. Life, one thing in life, you must ready to motivate yourself. You must ready to encourage yourself. You must ready to help others. Writers out there, I say kudos to them. It's all about what? It's all about passion. It is not about profits.
It's all about passion.
It's all about passion.
Profit.
Writing books, I must tell you the real fact, is all about passion.
Are you saying there are no much dividends? Nothing
I must tell you the real fact. What I can say about that, which we serve as an answer, is we are just expecting heaven intervention. I must tell you the real fact. Help from above. I must tell you the real fact. There is no encouragement from that corner. I must tell you the real fact. People are not encouraged writers. I must tell you, it's all about passion. We are just praying to God. But one day, because we understand one thing, this writing is a service to humanity. It's only service to humanity. We are just helping society. We are preserving society. We understand that with our literary works, definitely God is there in order to what? In order to reward us. And at the same time, we believe that, okay, our name can never be what?
Now, let me ask you. You're also a writer. We'll still go for another commercial break, but you're also a writer. We have Creative Writers Association of Nigeria,
which is ANA, Association of Nigerian
we have ANAN, Association of Nigerian Authors. We have International Writers Association,
definitely,
and that's 4 in number. And we've had different. We have other different associations of writers in Nigeria. Are there stuff that are put in place? Like you said, I'm sure you're part of ANAN, that's the Association of Nigerian Authors.
Yes.
Are there things put in place to help writers grow, to support one another? Because like you said, they're expecting dividends from above, from God.
Definitely.
Like, that's what every writer is waiting for, not that there is something in a cooler or something waiting somewhere that someday you'll just be known all over. Are there things put in place by Anand, for example, to help young writers?
Okay. Thanks so much. We have different programs. We have different programs which Anna and some other bodies are set aside to help young writers. And I must tell you the real fact. When we are talking about the encouragement from here and there, it is or are not enough. I must tell you the real fact.
It's not enough.
Oh, those encouragements.
Do you even have do you have young writers? Do you have people who are willing? Because I know you have your own school as well, secondary as well as primary school, I want to believe.
Definitely, sir.
I'm going to ask if you've ever seen a pupil come out to say, I want to be a writer in my life. Have you ever seen such?
Definitely.
You've seen pupils come out.
Definitely. And we are standing encourage them. You must understand, great things start small. Great things start small, definitely, and we are standing encourage them indeed. And at the same time, they are looking at us as a mentor, as a leader, and why we are getting it right, it will surely encourage them indeed.
We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll go straight to those books you've written. Some of them you mentioned. You mentioned something daughters, values of daughters. That's one of the books you wrote, and like you mentioned, is your favorite. So we'll touch a bit on it and few other books of yours before we wrap up on the program. The program is Pacesetter Watch. We'll be back in a bit. Keep it locked.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
Alkoyum Travels and Tours Limited káṣíṣẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ní Mẹ́kà Mẹ́dínà pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ alálàájì tó mọ ìbú àtòróṣẹ́ ájì wọ̀kùwọ́kù ní múṣẹ́ ájì rọrùn tí tún di ìtẹ́wọ́gbà lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah. Alkoyum Travels and Tours Limited orúkọ rẹ̀ òun àti mọ̀ ṣe bọ̀ dáadáa ló sọ wọ́n dọ̀gá. Àǹfààní aláìlẹ́gbẹ́ ní Alkoyum Travels and Tours Limited ní fún gbogbo òjáàjì wọn. Ilégbé ìrọ̀rùn tó súnmọ́ Haram ní Mẹ́kà Mẹ́dínà. Ziyara ọ̀fẹ́ mímú gbogbo àwọn alálàájì lọ sí àwọn àyè àṣẹ. Oúnjẹ aládìídùn sọ́kọ yọ̀kọ̀tọ̀ ṣáyà gbẹ̀ngbẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ làǹfààní sísanwó díẹ̀díẹ̀ wà lọ́dọ̀ tiwọn. Kílẹ̀ tún dúró dè. Alkoyum Travels and Tours Limited yá. Wọ́n wà ní New Complex àdójúkọ Mọ̀lété Bridge lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Mọ̀lété Hospital Mọ̀lété Ìbàdàn. Telephone 0808-071-0564 tàbí 080-7752-9798. Alkoyum Travels and Tours Limited. Àájì ìrọ̀rùn lówó tí ò fàkóyá.
Báyọ̀ Yéṣu fẹ́ jàre ilẹ̀ ti ṣújọ́.
Ooo màmá mi ò rí kan ṣe ní jàre dátà mi ti tán àwọn tó ń ta dẹ̀ ti palẹ̀ mọ́.
Ṣé torí yẹn ló ṣe wá ní jẹ́ kémi gbádùn báyìí? Oya testa 500# láti ya owó ìpè tàbí dátà lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Airtel.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni o, ìwọ kan testa 500# láti ya owó ìpè àti dátà lọ́wọ́ Airtel. Yá báyìí kó o sì san padà tó bá yá.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
kí gbogbo ìran ìṣòwò lè rajà tajà kí wọ́n sì jèrè rẹpẹtẹ ló mú kí Àgbékẹ́ Creations ó kalẹ̀ bàgẹ́ sí Àgbékẹ́ House Yemẹtu Adéọ̀yọ́ road Ìbàdàn fún onírúurú omi inú ike bottled water ọtí jíìnì àti ti ìṣẹ̀ǹbáyé àwọn àgbo ọlọ́tí àti èyí tí kò lọ́tínú rárá tí ó wà nínú ike lájẹ́wọ́ pẹ̀lú òtẹ̀jọba ní ìlànà tó bá òde òní mu àwọn mímu tí fún ara lókun energy drinks lónìrànràn pẹ̀lú ọtí òyìnbó lóríṣiríṣi tí kò tako ìlera ara wa ẹ̀yin ìyálọ́jà àti babalájé ẹ máa bọ̀ ní ilé ìtajà Àgbékẹ́ Creations tó wà ní Àgbékẹ́ House Yemẹtu Adéọ̀yọ́ road Ìbàdàn láti wá kó ọjà yín lójú páálí ilé ìtajà Àgbékẹ́ Creations láṣojú Seaway bottled water nílùú Ìbàdàn ẹ tún lè pè wá sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wa 0905-386-5306 àtúnwò alágbàtà káàkiri ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àǹfààní ń bẹ fún yín láti lo ọkọ̀ akẹ́rù wa lówó péréte tàbí lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí bọ́jà yín bá ṣe gara sí Àgbékẹ́ Creations ẹ̀dínwó ọjà tí múnú oníbàárà dùn.
ojú mi rohun ayọ̀ ẹ wá mo rohun tó dára ojú mi rohun ayọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn yìí o Academy Suite ilé ìtura ìgbàlódé ojú mi rohun ayọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn yìí o gbogbo ènìyàn ẹ bá mi ká lọ sódì fẹ̀rọ nìbàdàn o ojú mi rohun ayọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn yìí o ẹ wá wo gbọ̀ngàn ńlá tá a ti lè ṣayẹyẹ ojú mi rohun ayọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn yìí o swimming pool èyí lè kú Olympic size nìyẹn ojú mi rohun ayọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn yìí o Academy Suite ni home away from home tí mo mọ̀. Academy Suite ni home away from home tí mo mọ̀. 24 hours spa and massage center. Academy Suite ni home away from home tí mo mọ̀. Serene environment àyíká tó pa lọ́lọ́. Ó tún lọ tóní ní home away from home tí mo mọ̀. Oúnjẹ àjẹpọ́nù ńlá tilẹ̀ yìí àtòkè òkun. Academy Suite ni home away from home tí mo mọ̀. 08176666602. Academy Suite ni home away from home tí mo mọ̀.
Ilé àkọ́gbé, ilé àkọ́tà, Èdùmàrè akọ́lé ayọ̀ fún gbogbo wa o. Ǹjẹ́ ti gbọ́ wípé òrùlé ìbólé Gerard ti dé bìbà sílùú Ìbàdàn? Gerard roof ti sinmi pẹ́mú sórí ilé tí yóò máa ṣẹ́ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́. Òrùlé Gerard kìí tí, kìí ṣá, kìí bó, kìí dalu, kìí jò, kìí jóná. Gerard roof gbogbo ìgbà ní abẹ́ ilé ó máa tutù sẹ̀. Ayé àtijọ́ ni pé olówó nìkan ló ń lo òrùlé Gerard, mẹ̀kúnnù ń lò ó nítorí pé owó ẹ̀ òwọ́n tó báyé ṣe ń pariwo. Ìwọ kàn sí iléeṣẹ́ Links Roofing. Oríṣiríṣi Gerard lẹ́ẹ̀bà ń bẹ̀. Milano, shingle, plastic, Roma, òrùlé Gerard ti débìbà sílùú Ìbàdàn. Ràátàràtà látọ̀dọ̀ wa ní Links Roofing. A wà ní àdójúkọ ilé epo World Oil, Ìwó Road nílùú Ìbàdàn. Tàbí ká ẹ pè iléeṣẹ́ Links Roofing sórí 081 44 91 6204. 081 44 91 6204.
Ya Ramadan, ya Ramadan, ya marhaban bika ya Ramadan.
Asalaamu aleykum gbogbo Mùsùlùmí.
Àtúkù àmójúbà oṣù USA.
Ramadan. Alihamdulilayi Rabbil Alamin.
Àdúpẹ́ ti tọdún yìí tún bá wa láyé láàyè ọpẹ́.
Tó tún bá wa láàyè ìdùnnú. Iṣẹ́ tún ti yá o.
Àkókò tún ti tó o fún ṣe olóore. Tá a máa ń ṣe nínú oṣù Ramadan.
Ó yá. Ẹ jẹ́ àjọṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ọ̀kan òjọ̀kan ètò tá a ti là kalẹ̀. Nílé iṣẹ́ rédíò yìí. Rédíò aráàlú ni. Àgídìgbò FM 88.7.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ tààrà lólú ilé iṣẹ́ wa.
Tó wà ní Broadcasting House, Àgídìgbò Junction, Rainbow Bus Stop.
Lópòpónà tó ti wó ròdù lọ sọ́jọ́.
Ọ̀kan òjọ̀kan ètò láti là kalẹ̀.
Tẹ̀lé fowó tíntín sí. Kẹ́ ẹ̀ fi ṣiṣẹ́ àṣegbọ́ rẹ̀.
Ìrun pípé.
Tẹ̀fsíìrì.
Wáàsí ìta gbangba.
Àdúrà fáwọn ẹni wa tó ti jọ́ lọ́hùn nípè.
Lẹ́jẹ̀ wọ́n nílé iṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò 88.7 ṣètò Ramadan tọdún yìí.
Kọ́mọ́ bá gun wa nípa ni o.
Ìṣẹ́jú márùn-ún bẹ́ẹ̀ ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá, ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún, ogún ìṣẹ́jú, ọgbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú.
Kódà olóǹfààní àti sonígbọ̀wọ́ wákàtí kan gbáko.
Onírúurú àwọn ètò tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú Ramadan.
Olóǹfààní àti sonígbọ̀wọ́ ìfọ́.
Ẹ mú títí wá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ fi gbà púpọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba Allah.
Ẹ má gbàgbé láti sonígbọ̀wọ́ àbí láti kó nírúurú ẹ̀bùn fún wa.
Iléeṣẹ́ rédíò Àgídìgbò 88.7 fún tọdún yìí. Intansurula yansurukun.
88.7 FM.
You're welcome back. The program is Pacesetter Watch right here on Agribo 88.7 FM. And today being the third day in the month of March in the year 2023, it's 0303 2023. And it goes a long way. It's a special day. No wonder we're having a special person right here, Haji Kamal Osama. And he's been talking about reading a book. Let me ask you, let's go straight into your literary works because we have less than 10 minutes to wrap up.
Okay,
right
thanks
now.
so much.
You said you have like 15 books to your kitty right now.
Definitely.
Let's have you mention few of those books,
Okay.
and then let's go to that particular one you mentioned, Values of Daughters. But before then, let's have a few of those books you've written, the title of those books you've written.
Okay, thanks so much. The first one, Life's Curriculum.
Life's Curriculum. That was the first you wrote ever.
Definitely.
Now, let me ask you, how did it feel? How did you feel while you were writing that book, while you were about publishing the book, and after publication?
It's a long story, sir.
Because this will serve as a lot of encouragement for someone who's also looking forward to writing a book or who's written a book already.
Thanks so much. It's a long story. I mentioned one thing. Writing books is all about passion. It's all about passion. One needs to open his or her thinking faculties, and you need to be settled. You need to be settled. You need to look at the things critically, and at the same time, you must learn how to build yourself.
So tell
that
me,
is what
how
we
did
call
you build yourself? How the first book you wrote? Tell me about it.
Thanks so much. I must tell you the real fact. I'm a thinker. I'm a thinker. I always look at the things with different perspective. I always look at the things and question myself. When I see something, I will look at it from this stanza perspective. I will look at it. Okay, you have said this, and that. Okay, no problem. Let me just evaluate myself by thinking, by looking at it critically, and give it different definition. You can never be a writer without being engaged yourself in what we call thinking. You must think. My first book, Life's Curriculum, I look at myself. Because I understand one thing. Before you can try to understand next person's to you, you need to understand yourself. When you understand yourself, you evaluate yourself, you weigh yourself. Definitely, it will definitely give you the sense of direction to understand the thought that you're out there. Thinking propelled me to search around.
Now, when you looked around and then you wrote the book, first, of course, it will be a manuscript.
Okay.
Before it was published.
Definitely.
Now, after it being a manuscript with pen, paper, and then you threw some away, how long did it take you to get it from the stage of it being a manuscript to it being published? How long did it take you?
Oh, I can remember. Each was 3 months.
3 months.
Definitely within 3 months. And because we need to review and review. We need to review and review in order to before we can balance it. Writing is not something. It is a big task indeed.
A big task.
Oh, I must tell you.
Now, after writing and then after the review over and over again for 3 months. Now, publication. How did you go about? Because of course it was all about resources. Because it's going to be capital intensive.
Definitely, that's what I mean by resources. Resources. Okay, I always give thanks to God.
Now let me ask you, the book was written like how many years ago?
8 years ago.
8 years ago. Now let's look at it. 8 years till now. Like how many copies could you say you've sold out of the book?
Sir, that is challenging.
Challenging?
I must tell you the real fact.
You cannot tell the number?
Oh, because I said people are not reading. People are not reading. People are not reading. When people are not reading, I must tell you the real fact. How are we going to sell it? How are we going to sell it?
But you have it in bookshops and
definitely
wherever.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move on because we have less than 4 minutes now, and I want us to touch on the values of daughters that you mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Value of daughters. The book is all about appreciating, valuing their daughters.
Valuing daughters.
I must tell you the real fact. Please and please, as we understand, in our society right now, people are neglecting, devaluing our daughters, which is not supposed to be. We need to stand.
What informed that book? How did you come about? How did you make that decision to write something on value of daughters? That book.
Before you can, one thing. Before you can put anything down, before you can ask a pen and paper, you must have engaged yourself in what we call thinking. Yeah, I mean your intelligent quotient. Your intelligent quotient must be stand out.
I guess that's the latest book you have in your kitty, isn't it? Is
Definitely.
that the latest?
No. The latest one is insight about marriage. Insight about marriage.
Insight about
marriage.
Insight about marriage.
About marriage.
Oh, okay. Yes. Now let's go to that book you love the most, which is Value of Daughters.
Values of Daughters. We must understand our daughters are very precious to us. And we need to value them. And at the same time, we know that they are very fragile. They need our attention. We need to listen to them. They always need our attention, as I said, and we need to pamper them. We need to pamper them.
Our daughters,
because they have served as input to that product. Input to that product. They are the mother.
So would you categorize a value of daughters to a non-fiction or a fiction?
Is fiction.
Fiction.
Is fiction. Why the story inside the value of daughters is not real. When we are talking about the fiction, the story is not real. Definitely. That is why I said the writers are curators.
It's a pity our time is fast spent, and I've just gone like a few minutes. I must say thanks to you, Alhaji Kamal Uzama, for coming around. We say thanks to you for being our guest, and is a writer, and as well as a Muslim cleric, is an ustaz.
Thanks so much.
That's what I'll call him. Thank you so much for obliging us. And I'm sure Value of Daughters could be picked up everywhere.
Definitely.
All right. I wouldn't mind having one copy myself, so I could read it up.
I will bring it, sir.
But that must be autographed by you. I'd appreciate that.
Definitely. Thanks so much.
Thank you for being a part of the program today. I must say thanks to Femi Shitu, the engineer on duty, as well as Aziz right here. Abbas, I beg your pardon, Abbas right here. I'm saying thanks to the producer of this program, or rather the crew, Oluwatosin Ologun, Olamide Badmos, and every member of the crew. I am Adedotu Morenikeji Amusun. Remember, this program returns next week Friday between 3 and 4 p.m. It is better you read a book today. Get a grasp. Read a book today, and you'll increase your intelligent quotient. From my end, bye for now.